Throughout my 25 years working in geriatric rehabilitation, I've observed a pattern that most families miss until it's too late. Two seniors, same age, similar health history, living in the same neighborhood. One maintains complete independence well into their 80s. The other requires assisted living by 72. What separates these outcomes? It's not genetics, it's not luck, and it's not about how much they hurt. It's about one specific thing: lower body strength. Here's what happens that nobody explains clearly enough. Starting around age 60, your leg muscles begin a silent retreat. Not all at once, not in a way you'd notice day to day, but steadily, relentlessly, week after week. You don't feel it happening until one morning. Getting out of bed takes an extra beat. Climbing into the car requires more effort. That step up onto the curb suddenly looks higher than it used to. You start grabbing countertops and door frames you never touched before. Most people dismiss these as normal aging. They're not. They're warning signals of a progressive condition called sarcopenia, the medical term for age-related muscle wasting. According to comprehensive research from the International Sarcopenia Initiative published in the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia, and Muscle, adults over 60 who don't actively resist this process lose between 3 and 8% of their leg muscle strength annually. Think about that. By age 70, you could have 30 to 40% less strength than you had at 60. That's the difference between living independently and needing help with basic activities. Here's where conventional advice fails you. You've been told to stay active. Take walks. Keep moving. And yes, walking benefits your cardiovascular system. It helps with circulation, mood, bone density. But here's the hard truth backed by science. Walking alone will not preserve the leg strength you need to remain independent. Research from the Journal of Applied Physiology tracking older adults for 18 months confirmed that regular walking, while beneficial for endurance, did not prevent significant decline in lower extremity power or functional strength. Translation: you can walk 5 miles a day and still progressively lose the ability to stand up from a toilet or recover from a stumble. Why? Because muscle tissue responds to one specific stimulus: progressive resistance. After 60, your neuromuscular system becomes less efficient. Your brain stops recruiting certain muscle fibers unless you specifically demand them. The explosive, fast-twitch fibers that catch you when you trip? They atrophy first. And when they're gone, your body compensates by moving more cautiously, more slowly, more fearfully. That's when the downward spiral accelerates. What we're protecting today isn't your ability to run marathons or lift heavy weights. We're protecting something far more valuable: your independence. Your ability to stand from a seated position without assistance. To navigate stairs confidently. To trust your legs when your balance shifts unexpectedly. To live in your own home on your own terms. The encouraging news? This decline is neither inevitable nor irreversible. With the right targeted movements performed consistently, you can maintain and even rebuild functional leg strength well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. And you don't need a gym membership, expensive equipment, or the ability to get on the floor. The 5 exercises I'm about to show you can all be performed from a standard chair. They're safe, evidence-based, and specifically designed to address the exact muscle groups that determine whether you'll walk independently or require assistance. But here's what matters most. One of these 5 exercises is dramatically more effective than the others, yet almost nobody does it. I'll explain exactly why it works and how to perform it correctly when we get to number 1. Medical disclaimer. This video provides educational information about exercise and senior health. It is not a substitute for personalized medical advice. Before beginning any new exercise program, especially if you have existing health conditions, joint problems, balance issues, or take medications that affect balance or blood pressure, consult your physician or physical therapist. Individual capabilities vary significantly, and what's appropriate for one person may not be safe for another. All research studies referenced are cited in the description for your review. Before we begin, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment telling me your current age and what city or country you're watching from. We respond to every single comment because your engagement helps this content reach more people who need it. Also, if you find value in this information, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We publish evidence-based senior health content every week designed specifically to help you maintain independence and quality of life as you age. Now let's dive into exercise number 5, and this one is more important than it appears. Exercise number 5. Seated leg lifts with controlled lowering. This movement looks deceptively simple. You're sitting. You're lifting one leg. There's no weight, no visible challenge. But from a clinical perspective, this exercise targets the quadriceps femoris muscle group, the 4 large muscles running down the front of your thigh. These muscles are absolutely critical for functional independence after 60. Your quadriceps do 3 essential jobs. First, they extend your knee, straightening your leg. Second, they control your descent when you sit down, preventing you from dropping into chairs. Third, they stabilize your knee joint when you're walking on uneven ground or going downstairs. When these muscles weaken, the consequences cascade quickly. First, you lose confidence standing from low surfaces. Then stairs become challenging. Eventually, you start using your arms to push yourself up from every seated position, which means your legs are no longer doing the work they need to stay strong. Research published in the Journal of Gerontology by the University of Maryland Medical Center demonstrated that quadriceps weakness is one of the single strongest predictors of future mobility limitations in adults over 65. This isn't about athletic performance. This is about whether you'll need a walker in 5 years or whether you'll still be walking confidently on your own. Here's the proper technique. Sit upright in a sturdy chair with your back fully supported. Place your feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. Keeping your thigh on the chair, slowly raise one foot by straightening your knee until your leg is extended parallel to the floor. Don't jerk or kick. Take a full 2 count to lift. Hold the top position for 1 second, feeling your thigh muscle contract. Then, and this is crucial, take 3 to 4 seconds to lower your foot back to the floor. That eccentric lowering phase is where the muscle actually adapts and strengthens. Begin with 8 to 12 repetitions per leg. Perform 2 sets. Do this every other day to allow recovery. If 12 repetitions feel easy after 2 weeks, add a third set. Once you can comfortably complete 3 sets, you can progress by adding a light ankle weight, starting with just 1 pound. But only add resistance once the movement pattern is smooth and controlled. Physical therapists recommend this exercise specifically because it strengthens the knee extensors without compressing the joint itself. There's no impact, no torque, no risk of aggravating arthritis. Yet it directly improves your functional capacity to stand, walk, and maintain balance. This is foundational work that pays dividends in daily life. Now let's move to exercise number 4, which addresses a muscle group that most people completely overlook until it's too late. Exercise number 4, seated calf raises for ankle stability. Most people think calf muscles are for athletes or dancers, but medically, your calf muscles, specifically the gastrocnemius and soleus, serve a critical function that has nothing to do with sports. They're your primary ankle stabilizers and balance correctors. These muscles control the fine adjustments your ankle makes dozens of times per minute to keep you upright. When you sway slightly while standing, it's your calves that instantly contract to pull you back to center. When you step on an uneven surface, your calves stabilize your ankle to prevent rolling or twisting. A comprehensive balance study published by researchers at the Tokyo Metropolitan Institute of Gerontology found that diminished calf strength was independently associated with significantly increased fall risk in adults over 70, regardless of their overall fitness level. The key finding: you don't fall because your entire body is weak. You fall because one specific system, often the ankle stabilizers, fails to respond quickly enough when needed. Here's how to perform seated calf raises correctly. Sit tall with your feet flat on the floor, positioned about hip width apart. Keeping the balls of your feet planted, slowly raise both heels off the ground as high as you comfortably can. Take 2 seconds to rise up onto your toes. Pause briefly at the peak, feeling your calf muscles contract. Then take 3 seconds to lower your heels back down with control. Start with 12 to 15 repetitions. Complete 2 full sets. As this becomes easier over several weeks, you can progress to single leg calf raises, lifting one heel at a time while the other foot rests flat. This increases the challenge and trains each leg independently, which is important since most people have one weaker side. From an orthopedic standpoint, this exercise strengthens your ankle stabilizers without stressing your knee or hip joints. Functionally, it improves your reflexive balance responses and gives you more confidence while walking, especially on uneven terrain or when you need to react quickly to avoid an obstacle. This is genuinely one of the most effective fall prevention exercises we can prescribe, and it takes less than 3 minutes to complete. Now we transition to exercise number 3, where we start integrating strength with coordination. Exercise number 3, seated knee lifts with alternating rhythm. Many people see this movement and assume it's just a warm-up. It's not. When executed with proper form and tempo, seated knee lifts strengthen your hip flexors, the iliopsoas muscles that lift your knee toward your chest. These muscles, along with your lower abdominal stabilizers, determine how effectively you clear your foot off the ground when walking. They're the reason you either walk with a smooth gait or start shuffling. They're what prevent you from tripping over small obstacles like rugs or curbs. Research from the Australian Institute for Musculoskeletal Science published in Gait and Posture Journal showed that targeted hip flexor strengthening significantly improved gait stability and reduced shuffling in adults over 65. This isn't about walking faster. It's about walking safely, with proper foot clearance and confidence. Here's the correct execution. Sit tall in your chair. Do not slouch or lean against the backrest. Place your hands lightly on the armrests or on your thighs for light support. Slowly lift your right knee toward your chest, only as high as you can control without leaning back or losing your upright posture. Lower that leg back down slowly, then immediately lift your left knee. Continue alternating in a smooth, controlled rhythm. Tempo is critical here. Take 2 full seconds to lift each knee. Take 3 seconds to lower it. Perform 10 lifts per side, which equals 20 total repetitions. Complete 1 to 2 sets. If your balance is solid and you feel confident, try performing this exercise with your hands off the armrests. That forces your core and hip muscles to work together to maintain stability, which is exactly what they need to do when you're walking in real life. Surgeons and physical therapists recommend this movement because it restores the coordination between your lower body and trunk, a connection that deteriorates quietly with age. Most people don't realize their gait has changed until someone points out they're shuffling or until they trip over something they should have easily stepped over. This exercise prevents that decline. Functionally, it improves walking fluidity, reduces tripping risk, and restores confidence in your movement patterns. Before we continue to the final 2 exercises, if you're finding this information valuable, please take 1 second to hit that like button. It genuinely helps more seniors discover this content. And make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on because we release new evidence-based health guidance for seniors every single week. The next 2 exercises are where we address the deeper components of strength preservation. And number 1 is the movement most people never do but absolutely should. We now arrive at exercise number 2. And this is where we shift from basic muscle activation to something far more important after 60, movement control. Exercise number 2. Controlled sit-to-stand repetitions with eccentric emphasis. Most people assume that falling happens because you're not strong enough. That's only partially true. What actually causes the majority of falls in older adults is the loss of eccentric strength, your ability to control your body as it lowers or decelerates. The muscles responsible for this controlled lowering are your gluteus maximus, your hamstrings, and the deep hip stabilizers. These muscles don't just lift you up from a chair. More importantly, they control you as you sit down. A clinical study from the Faculty of Kinesiology at the University of Calgary found that seniors who demonstrated poor eccentric control during sitting movements had more than double the fall risk within 1 year compared to those with good control. Here's why this matters so profoundly. Every time you plop down into a chair, drop quickly onto a toilet seat, or let gravity pull you down uncontrolled, your nervous system registers that movement as dangerous. Over time, your brain begins avoiding those transitions altogether. You become hesitant. You slow down. You start looking for furniture to grab. That's the beginning of the end of independent mobility. Here's how to safely train this critical skill. Sit near the front edge of a stable, sturdy chair. Place your feet flat on the floor, about hip-width apart. Fold your arms across your chest, or if you need extra security, let your hands hover just above the armrests without actually gripping them. Lean slightly forward from your hips, not your waist. Now, begin to stand up just 3 or 4 inches, barely lifting your hips off the seat. This is not a full stand. Then, and this is the key part, take 4 to 5 full seconds to lower yourself back down to the seated position. Lower slowly, quietly, with complete control. Your glutes and hamstrings should be working hard to resist gravity. Start with 6 to 8 repetitions. Perform 1 to 2 sets every other day. As you build strength over several weeks, gradually increase how high you rise before lowering back down. Eventually, this progression leads to a full sit-to-stand movement with a controlled descent. But that takes time. Don't rush it. Orthopedic specialists recommend this exercise because it trains the exact neuromuscular pattern your body uses dozens of times per day, sitting in chairs, using the toilet, getting in and out of cars, without overloading your joints. Functionally, it builds confidence, strengthens your posterior chain, and directly reduces your fall risk during the transitions that cause the most injuries in seniors. And now we reach number 1. This is the exercise that separates those who maintain functional leg strength from those who progressively lose it. Exercise number 1. Static leg drive with isometric hold. This exercise is consistently overlooked because it doesn't look impressive. There's no visible movement. You're not lifting anything. To an observer, it appears you're doing nothing. But neurologically and functionally, this is one of the most powerful lower body strengthening techniques available for adults over 60. This movement trains isometric strength, your ability to generate muscular force without joint motion. And that specific type of strength is precisely what your body relies on when you need to catch yourself from falling. The primary muscles engaged are your quadriceps, glutes, and hamstrings. But unlike traditional exercises where these muscles work in sequence, here they work simultaneously as an integrated unit. That unified activation pattern mirrors what happens in real-life balance recovery. A groundbreaking study from the Department of Biomedical Sciences at the University of Copenhagen demonstrated that isometric lower body training improved functional performance scores and measurably reduced fall incidence in adults over 70, even without any dynamic movement training. Here's the proper technique. Sit upright in your chair with your feet flat on the floor. Without actually lifting your hips, press both feet firmly into the ground as if you're attempting to stand, but don't stand. Push hard enough that you feel your thigh and buttock muscles activate strongly. Hold that isometric push for 10 seconds while breathing normally. Do not hold your breath. Do not strain to the point of shaking or pain. After 10 seconds, release completely and rest for 10 seconds. Repeat this 5 times. Perform this sequence once daily. As this becomes comfortable after a week or two, increase the hold duration to 15 seconds per repetition. You can also progress by trying single leg presses, where you press only one foot down at a time while the other rests lightly on the floor. This exercise works because it teaches your nervous system to rapidly recruit large numbers of muscle fibers simultaneously without requiring joint movement. That's critical because when you stumble or lose balance, you don't have time for conscious thought. Your legs must react instantly and powerfully. This isometric training builds that reflexive strength capacity. Orthopedic surgeons particularly recommend it for people with painful knees or hips because you're strengthening muscles without moving the joints, which means you can build strength even when dynamic exercises cause discomfort. Functionally, this improves your reactive strength, enhances balance recovery speed, and gives you confidence that your legs will respond when you need them most. That confidence matters enormously because fear of falling often restricts activity more than actual weakness does. We've now covered all 5 exercises, but simply knowing movements isn't enough. What matters is understanding how to integrate them into your daily routine in a way that's sustainable and effective. Let me tie this all together for you. Building and maintaining leg strength after 60 isn't about doing more. It's about doing what actually matters. Today we focused on 5 specific chair-based movements. Each one targeted a different but essential component of functional leg strength. Your quadriceps, which power you up from seated positions. Your calves, which stabilize your ankles and correct balance shifts. Your hip flexors, which ensure proper foot clearance while walking. Your glutes and hamstrings, which control your descent and prevent falling during transitions. And finally, your integrated lower body system's ability to generate force instantly when balance is threatened. Together, these 5 exercises address the real priorities of healthy aging: maintaining balance, preserving mobility, protecting independence. This isn't about fitness goals or aesthetics. This is about preventing functional decline so you can continue living on your own terms. And notice something important. Not one of these exercises required a gym membership. Not one required specialized equipment. Not one asked you to get on the floor or push through pain. What they required was targeted muscular effort for a few minutes, a few days per week. That's genuinely sufficient. Clinical evidence consistently shows that even 2 to 3 brief resistance sessions weekly, when properly designed to target the right muscle groups, can dramatically slow muscle loss, improve balance, and preserve functional capacity well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Progress in this context doesn't mean aggressive advancement or pushing limits. It means consistency, controlled movement, gradual progression, listening to your body's signals. That's how sustainable strength is built and maintained at this stage of life. It's not about adding years to your life. It's about adding confident, independent movement to every year you have remaining. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 5 exercises are you planning to start with? Drop your answer in the comments below. We read every single comment, and knowing what resonates with you helps us create better content. Your experiences also help other viewers feel less alone in their health journey. And if you want ongoing access to clear, science-backed guidance on maintaining strength, balance, and independence as you age, hit that subscribe button right now. We publish new videos regularly, all focused on practical strategies that help you move confidently and live independently for as long as possible. You're not behind. You're not too late. Your body is still remarkably capable of responding positively when given the right stimulus and guidance. Let's make sure that happens.